Good morning students, welcome in my class. Today our topic is comparing quantities for class 7. In this chapter, we learn about the ratios, percentage, cost price, selling price, profit, loss and simple interest. These are our key topics which we learn in this class. Now first of all we study ratio. We know ratio means comparing two or more things. If, for example, a basket has two types of fruits. We can say 35 bananas and 7 cherries. Then the ratio of the number of cherries to the number of bananas is 7 ratio 35. Now the comparison can be done by using the fraction just like as 7 upon 35 which is equal to 1 upon 5. If we simplify it, the number of cherries are 1/5 the number of bananas. In terms of ratios, it is 1:5 or read as 1:5. This is the symbol of ratio. Now percentage. The word percent symbolically written as percentage. This is the symbol of percentage, which means in every 100 or per 100. The change of percentage to a fraction. If we want to change the percentage to a fraction, write it as a fraction with the denominator 100 and simplify if possible. For example, if we write 25% and we want to write it as a fraction, then we simply write 25 with the denominator 100 and after simplification it becomes 1 upon 4. So here the percentage converted into the fraction. Similarly, to change the percent to a decimal, if we want to change the percent to a decimal, then first of all we change the percent to fraction and then simply change the fraction to the decimal. To change fraction, ratio and decimal to percentage, if we want to change these things, that fraction, ratio or decimal into the percentage, then we simply multiply it by the 100. For example, a picnic is being planned in a school for class 7. Girls are 60% of the total number of students and are 18 in number. In this question, the number of girls is 60% of the total strength and 18 in number. The picnic site is 55 km from the school and the transport company is charging at the rate of rupees 12 per kilometer. The total cost of refreshment will be rupees 4,280. Now here the question arises, find the ratio of the number of girls to the number of boys of the class. We have to find the ratio of the number of girls to the number of boys of the class. So we know from the question that the number of girls is 18 in numbers. First of all, we have to find the number of boys. Now, as we know, 60% of girls, 60% of total students is girls. So, let the total number of students be Y. So, 60% of Y is girls. It means 60% of Y is equal to 18. We convert this relationship and simplify 60%. We convert 60% into a fraction like 60 upon 100. Multiply Y is equal to 18. So we get Y is equal to 30. That is total number of students in the class. Number of students is 30. Now number of boys is 30 minus 18, that is 12. And after getting the number of boys, we write the ratio of the number of girls to the number of boys, that is 18:12. Or after simplification we can write it as 3:2 also. Now the second question is, if their first stop is at a place of 22 km from the school. Now the picnic site is 55 km from the school and their first stop is at 22 km from the school. Now we have to find what percent of total distance is left to be covered. Now the distance of place where first stop was made is 22 kilometers. Find the percentage of distance which they have covered. That is 22 upon total distance, that is 55 kilometers into 100, which simply becomes 40%. So they covered 40% out of 100%. So we simply find, after subtracting, that percentage distance left to be traveled is 100% minus 40%, that is 60%. Or in different way we can also solve this question by first we find the distance which is left over, that is 55 km minus 22 km, that is 33 km, and now we convert this leftover distance into the percentage also. We again get the same answer, 60%. Now percentage increase or decrease. Many times we come with many examples in our daily life about the increase percent and decrease percent. So percentage increase or decrease. To increase a quantity by a percent, if we want to increase the quantity by a percent, find the percent of the quantity, find the percentage of the quantity and add it to the original quantity. First we find the percentage of the quantity, how much percent we want to increase, and then add that amount to the original quantity. To decrease a quantity by a percentage, if you want to decrease a quantity by a percentage, then find the percentage of the quantity. Then find the percentage of the quantity first and subtract, as you want to decrease. So subtract it from the original quantity. For example, in our daily life we see these type of examples of increase percent and decrease percent. Here one example is that 25% off on marked prices. Many times we see in many festival season there are offers, company gives offers of decrease in marked price. Or another example is 10% hike in the price of petrol. Now, for example, price of a car was 3,27,000. It has increased 10% this year. What is the price now? Here the price of the car is increased by 10% this year. So we have to find the new price. So first of all, we find how much the price is increased. Given the price of the car is rupees 3,27,000. Now increased percent is 10%. So first of all we find increased price. Increased price is 10% of 3,27,000. So this increase or decrease always depends on the initial price or initial quantity amount. So 10% of 3,27,000 is 10 percentage, means upon 100 we convert this percentage to the fraction for simplification and multiply by 3,27,000, which becomes 32,700. This amount is increased this year. Now the new price of the car is old price plus increased amount. So 3,27,000 plus 32,700 becomes 3,59,700. This is the new price of the car. In this way we solve the problems related to increase or decrease by percentage. Now, cost price, selling price, profit and loss. First of all, we understand these terms, basic terms. Cost price. The buying price of any item is known as its cost price. For example, if we go to the market and purchase any item, for purchasing we give some amount to the shopkeeper. That amount which we give to the shopkeeper is cost price for us, because we are paying. The person who is paying, for him that amount is cost price, and the person who is getting that amount after giving the goods, who is getting the amount, for that person the amount is selling price. So cost price is the buying price of any item is known as cost price, in which amount we buy anything, and selling price is the price at which we sell, the goods to another person is known as selling price. Now profit, if the cost price is less than selling price, suppose we purchase an item is in 10 rupees and we sell it in the 15 rupees. So if cost price is less and selling price is more than the cost price, then the difference between the selling price and cost price is known as profit. So profit is equal to selling price minus cost price. Here selling price is always greater than cost price. Now what is loss? If cost price is greater than the selling price, suppose we purchase an item in rupees 50 and we sell it in rupees 40 or 35 whatsoever. So if the cost price is more, than selling price, then here occurs loss. So loss is equal to cost price minus selling price. Here one thing we always remember, that profit and loss always depends on the cost price, because the cost price is the initial amount which takes place in the process of buying and selling. So these two things always depend on the cost price. Now here are some formulas which we use in the solving the problems related to the profit percent, loss percent, finding selling price, cost price, etc. So percentage change, first formula is for percentage change. To change any percent or find any percentage change, we use actual change, how much change in the original quantity, divided by original amount multiplied by the 100. Now profit percent. To find profit percent, we use the formula that profit upon cost price multiplied by the 100, because profit or loss always depends on the cost price. So profit upon cost price multiplied by the 100. To find loss percent, we use the formula same as profit percent. We change only profit to the loss. Loss divided by cost price into 100. Now to find the selling price, if you want to find selling price and given is cost price and profit percent, then we use the formula that selling price is equal to 100 plus profit percent divided by 100 into cost price. In case of loss, 100 minus loss percent divided by 100 multiplied by the cost price. Now same again, there is a formula for cost price. If we know the profit percent and selling price, or the loss percent and selling price, then how we find the cost price? The cost price is equal to 100 upon 100 plus profit percent multiplied by the selling price, or 100 upon 100 minus loss percent into or multiplied by the selling price. Here these formulas we have to write while solving the problems. In every problem, before solving solution, we write the formula which is used so that we can easily remember these formulas. Now we take an example. A shopkeeper bought a chair for rupees 375 and sold it for rupees 400 find the gain percent. Gain or profit are the same things. We know that cost price of the chair is rupees 375 and selling price of the chair is rupees 400. Now selling, as we see, selling price is more than cost price. So here profit occurs. So profit is equal to 400 minus 375 is equal to 25, and we have to find gain percent, that is profit percent. So profit percent is equal to 25 upon 375 multiplied by the 100, which becomes a fractional profit percent 6 complete 2 by 3%. Now the next topic is simple interest. Now interest is the extra money. Interest is the extra money that a bank gives to you for saving or depositing your money with them. We all know that we deposit money to the bank, and when we need money, then we take money out from our saving account. So if we deposit our money to the bank, then bank gives us some extra money for the saving or depositing our money to the bank. This extra money is known as interest. Similarly, when you borrow money, you pay interest. Sometimes we borrow money or we give money to others. Then again also we collect some extra money or we give some extra money, which is known as interest. Basically, interest is of two types, which is first is simple interest and another is compounded interest. So in this class we study only about simple interest. With simple interest, the interest is calculated on the same amount of money in each time period. Therefore, the interest earned in each time period is the same. Here, before understanding these things, we come to some basic terms. While taking the concept of simple interest, we need to understand some terms. First term is principal. Second term is rate. Third term is time. Here the principal amount is the amount which is to be borrowed or to the given, which is in case of bank, which is to be deposited in the bank. So this is our primary amount on which we calculate the interest. Now rate is the rate at which we get the interest or we give the interest. For example, rupees 2% per annum. Here annum means yearly, 2% means we give 2 rupees interest on 100 rupees in 1 year. Now time is the time limit which is set for the whole transaction at the initial of the transaction. So with simple interest, the interest is calculated on the same amount. The principal is same amount for every span of the time period. So for example, we take any amount for the 2 years. Then at the end of first year, the principal is same. At the end of the second year, again the principal is same. Therefore, the interest earned in each time period is the same. Another is compound interest, which is calculated on the principal plus the interest on the previous period. Here, the compound interest is calculated on the principal plus the interest on the previous period. So, we can say that compound interest calculated is more than the simple interest on the same amount of money deposited. Let us take an example to understand simple interest and compound interest more clearly. Simple interest. And compound interest. Let principal is rupees 100, rate is rupees 4% per annum and time is 2 years. The same we take here, principal rupees 100, rate rupees 4% per annum and time is 2 years. In case of simple interest, at the end of first year, we calculate interest which becomes rupees 4% per annum. It means at the end of 1 year we have to pay rupees 4 as a interest on each 100 rupees. So interest is rupees 4, and at the end of second year again the interest is on the same principal, that is rupees 100. So the interest again is rupees 4. Total interest is rupees 8. But in case of compound interest, at the end of first year we take interest as rupees 4 because rate is again here rupees 4% per annum. So at the end of second year, here the principal becomes 100 plus 4, that is 104. So we have to pay interest on 104 rupees rather than rupees 100. So after calculating, interest is 104 principal into rate into time upon 100, 416. Upon 100, that is rupees 416 paise. Here the difference is total interest 8.16. So we see in case of simple interest the total interest is rupees 8, and in case of compound interest the total interest is rupees 8.16. So here is difference of 16 paise. But if the amount is very large and the time is also large, some changes with rate, that this difference becomes very large. So in case of compound interest, the interest is more than the interest in the simple interest. Now formula for simple interest is equal to principal into rate into time period upon 100. Amount is principal plus simple interest. Now take an example. Find a simple interest on rupees 5,000 for 2 years at the rate of 10% per annum. So principal is rupees 5,000, rate is 10% per annum, time is 2 years. So we apply the formula simple interest, that is principal into rate into time upon 100. After calculating we get simple interest as rupees 1,000 and amount is 5,000 plus 1,000, that is rupees 6,000. By using this formula, in this formula we have 4 things. One is simple interest, second principal, third rate, and fourth is time period. In our questions related to simple interest, out of these 4, any 3 things are given in the question. By the help of these 3 things, we have to find the 4th one. Okay, thank you very much. This topic ends here, and I hope you all understand and practice the questions from NCERT book as well. Thank you.